Hello and welcome, this is Mouse Gunner, and we're going to have a playthrough of Space Hulk Ascension. Now this is a new version of Space Hulk. I have already put up a version of Space Hulk just a little bit ago, a video of the original Space Hulk by the same developer. Now there was a bit of criticism leveled at the developers of that game that it was so similar to the original board game that it faced a lot of criticism for that. People felt like this being a video game format, it should have been much more than that. So in answering the criticisms, they came out with Ascension. Now Ascension, what they have done is they've added a lot of RPG elements. They've changed up the game format a lot, deviating a little bit from the way the board game worked. Now it does work similar to the way the board game works, but there's enough deviations and changed features that it is a very different game. Now all I've done so far is just play the tutorial, which is a pretty decent tutorial. It's not super in-depth, but I think from my previous experience with the original game and learning the differences through the tutorial, I think I'm ready to go for the campaign. So we're going to go ahead and start a new game. I have not done anything with this new game yet, although I kind of popped in just to see what the different options are. So coming into the campaign, we can choose 3 different chapters of Space Marines. And if you're familiar with the 40K universe, which I am, essentially the Space Marines have different chapters, and those chapters operate very differently, have different background story, and this is simulated through the choice here. And essentially you have 3 chapters to choose from. The Ultramarines, which are they're kind of like your basic typical Space Marine, although a lot of people find this chapter kind of lame. You have the Blood Angels, which I think was the base choice in the original Space Hulk game. They did come out with expansions, but this was your first choice, and unless you bought DLC, your only choice were the Blood Angels. And then there's the Space Wolves. Now the difference between them is listed here. So by using the Ultramarines, we get a unique weapon choice in the Cyclone missile launcher, and their chapter has a more ranged focus, and as a result you get a plus 5% ranged hit, but a minus 5% melee hit. Now the Blood Angels, they don't have a unique trait, and their chapter focus is that they're more versatile. And you get plus 5 focus points, and I'm not sure what this means. No CTH adjustments. I'm not exactly sure what that means. But in any case, the focus points, I believe, is for your librarian. His focus points is replacing the side points you had from the previous game. So it's essentially his ability to use psychic powers, so that it makes the Blood Angels librarians a little bit more effective. And then the Space Wolves have frost weapons, which are essentially they are close combat weapons that you have a choice of, and they have a melee focus, which is pretty much the opposite of the way that the Ultramarines were. Now we're going to pick the Ultramarines as our first starting chapter, just to see how they play. And I'm kind of interested to see what the Cyclone missile launchers, which they actually have right here, modeled, how those play out. So let's go ahead and pick the Ultramarines as our first start. I'm going to pick normal. It does tell you what the difference between the different difficulty settings are. And we're going to pick normal. Essentially hard, the spawn rate of the enemies is higher, and then your killed Terminators are replaced with rookies rather than in normal they're killed with the same skill level. They're replaced with the same skill level as the Terminator that got killed. Also, it looks like you get additional action points and a chance to hit. And then impossible is the same thing as hard, which not only makes the enemy spawn in more frequently, but makes them tougher. Impossible, it just says similar to hard, but just harder, and you don't get to save during a mission. I have not tried to save during a mission, and I wasn't even aware that was an option. In the previous game, that was not an option. You essentially had to play through a scenario, and you didn't get to stop in between. So it looks like with this game, they've answered that criticism by allowing you to have save files in the middle of a mission. That's good, because sometimes missions can last quite a long time. From the previous game, you could be on a mission for pretty much close to an hour, depending on the complexity of the mission. So we're just going to pick normal because we're getting used to the game. And we're going to go ahead and, from what I saw earlier, you get to choose which campaign you're going to play as. It looks like the campaigns are designed for this particular chapter. So you have the Ultramarine chapter here, the Space Wolves chapter here, and the Blood Angels chapter here. So each of them have their own campaign. It doesn't seem like it limits you though, so I could play with Ultramarines in this campaign. But it looks like it's more designed for the Space Wolves, so maybe we'll try that out later. But for right now, we're just going to do the campaign that it looks like our chapter is designed for. So this is the Hammer and Anvil campaign. We'll click on that. And it gives us a little bit of background information to that. And here is the overall story of our campaign. Essentially, the home base of the Ultramarine chapter is having a Space Hulk enter its space. Now, Space Hulks are essentially... they're giant spacecraft that are derelicts that are just, float in space. But kind of the way that the background universe of 40K works is oftentimes just the way that the Empire is, the Empire of Man, is it's actually kind of degrading. Technology in the past was much more powerful than it is now. So some of these older ships have a lot of very advanced technology on them, and they're a valuable asset if we can capture them. But in this case, it's actually a danger too, because sometimes, and is the case for all of the games in Space Hulk, they are swarming with hostiles. And this Space Hulk has drifted into the Ultramarine Space Marine chapter's home territory and is on a course to their home planet. So their mission is to intercept it and either redirect it or destroy it. So that is the mission that we're being tasked with this particular campaign. So essentially, this is the campaign map, and this is our first mission, which is Secure Your Ground, which we enter the Space Hulk, deactivate the shields, and pave the way for your battle brothers to advance. So essentially, that's the first mission. These are our two squads that we have control over, and we can change their loadout. This is something that is added into this new game. So essentially, what you have is you have two sergeants leading each squad, and usually each squad is going to have one heavy and then a number of normal Space Marines. Now, there are a distinction of the typical Terminators in ranged, which is here, or melee. Now, being that this is an Ultramarine chapter, it doesn't look like we have an option for any of the melee Terminators, which essentially the melee Terminators are going to have different loadout options, which if we click on the Power Fist, well actually we'll click on this, you'll note that we don't have another option for any other melee weapons. We only get a Power Fist. Essentially that is our problem, is we don't get the other options that the melee Terminators would have. Now the bolter we can change out, but we have to level up this character before we can get some of the equipment. So our normal bolter, our storm bolter, is our first choice, and then we can get a combo bolter, which is a bolter flamer, and a bolter melta. If you're familiar with the 40K universe, you'll understand these. If not, maybe we'll explain that in a future video when we unlock them. They also have, and we'll go to our sergeant. You'll notice that he has a couple different choices. He has a combo bolter plasma as opposed to the other what the ranged Marines had, and he also has the choice of getting a power sword, but again we have to unlock that at level 2. Now the heavy starts with a flamer. He also has the option of getting a chain fist as his melee weapon, and we also have the ability to unlock later on an assault cannon. And also later on we can unlock the Cyclone missile launchers. We don't get to get them as a starting option, but our Ultramarines are the only ones that can have the Cyclone missile launcher, so that hopefully that's something we can see later on. Now we do have skills, and this is again an add-on. Now we have choices here. Most of them are locked, but we do have a choice of heat management. And that's something I'll kind of try and explain as we get into the gameplay, what heat management is. But the other skill that we have a choice of is that the Terminator can move without losing the sustained fire bonus. Just like in the previous game, you have a sustained fire bonus for continuing to fire at the same target. Now this doesn't really matter so much for the Flamer, but for the guys with the bolters it does. Now, you only at this point have one skill slot, so if we switch out for the heat management, we lose the sustained fire upgrade. So I'm going to keep the sustained fire upgrade because that's actually in keeping with the original game, the abilities of the Terminators, and to swap out the heat management, we would actually lose that ability. You can move around the appearance of your Terminators, essentially change what their head looks like and their body and other things. I'm not going to really mess with that because it's already like kind of randomized. Although we do have quite a lot of Terminators with this appearance. Let's change our sergeant to look a little bit more unique. Let's give him this appearance. It doesn't look like anybody else looks like that. So you get kind of an idea of what the different appearance choices are. They're kind of limited, but it's still an interesting thing that you can do. Now, attributes, this is where the RPG element comes in. You have different skills. Now, weapon skill is essentially going to be for close combat. Your ballistic skill is going to be for ranged combat. Agility is going to determine how many action points you have available. Perception is how well you can see around you, like what kind of range you can see, which is a big element to this game in the new changes. You have toughness, which is how much damage how well the Terminator can resist damage, and you have willpower, which mostly affects how the Terminator resists or utilizes psychic abilities. So the Librarian, this is a very important stat. For the other Terminators, not so much, but it still helps against psychic attacks defending. So that's pretty much the skills. And we also have equipment slots. Right now we only have one equipment unlocked. Let's see what we have for our... Okay, our Heavy doesn't even have a choice in an equipment slot. But you can choose different equipment. And again, most of these are unlockable, but these are deployable equipment. It looks like the Server Skull is kind of like a automated scout. We'll try that out. I actually haven't seen it used, so we'll see how that works. I'm kind of curious. But in any case, now is our chance to select our squad. So mostly I'm going to be looking at the attributes, and we have reinforcements here, which are kind of our reserve. So we have another sergeant here that we can replace. He has a higher agility than this guy. Otherwise, it looks like he loses out on... Not really sure what he loses out on. Oh, okay, he loses out on willpower. So he's definitely, I think, better than Marcus. Severus is definitely better than Marcus, it looks like. But let's see what Septimus is like. Okay, Septimus... he looks very similar to Marcus, other than he loses the range for agility. So they're very similar. I'm thinking we want a Librarian because we have one unlocked. It looks like our Librarian, fortunately his willpower stat is not better than his toughness. We would have preferred a willpower point because that makes him more effective. It looks like the stats are kind of randomized every time you play, so that's interesting. I definitely want the Librarian, and I'm going to replace Septimus with the Librarian, and then I'm going to replace Marcus with Severus. So we have Severus as our sergeant instead of Marcus. And I'm going to change his appearance to the appearance we had. Oops, who do I have selected here? Oh, I'm changing Marcus, not Severus. I wanted to change Severus because I want him to be somebody... I want his appearance to be different than something that we already have. Oh, actually, we already have that one. Well, it kind of helps me differentiate them if the Terminators kind of have a little bit different appearance. Let's see. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I wanted him. I'll have both my Heavies have the same appearance so I can tell which ones are which. And then the other Terminators, they can look whatever they want to look like. I don't really care. I just don't want too many of the ones that you can see their head looking exactly the same, you know. Let's see. Yeah, well, most of them will just have the white face thing. I don't really care. In any case, let's see Our heavies, attributes-wise, looks like agility good. For that, I care about that stat the most for the heavies. That makes them more mobile. Okay, let's see if we have anything. Okay, that guy has better agility, so he's probably a choice. And this guy has better agility and better melee. I like him better than, which one was it? Was it this guy? Yeah. So we're going to put in Romulus and replace Gaius. And we'll change his appearance so that we match what we've decided for the heavies to look like. And Flavius, I'm not sure if I'm going to use him or not, because he's pretty much the same as Atreus. So we're going to keep that. Our other guys, let's see. Mostly, I'm liking the stat I'd like the most is perception is a good stat and range is a good stat for us. So I like that guy. He has two stats I don't really need. So let's see. Nero has range and agility. That's good. I like that better than Lucius's stats. So let's go ahead and pick that. Okay, Tiberius, he has range and toughness. That's alright. Let's see what Octavius has. He has agility and range. So those are good stats. This guy has range and perception. I like that. I'm not sure if I'm going to replace Tiberius. We'll see what the other guys are like. So we've got range and, okay, I'm thinking Octavius is going to replace Demetrius, because I like the agility stat better than I like the willpower stat, so we'll switch him out. And Quintus has perception and range. That's good for me. And range and toughness. What did which guy was it? I'm getting confused. Is it this guy? Yeah, he had perception and range as opposed to range and toughness. Interesting. And what did this guy have? He had range and toughness as well. I definitely want the perception, so I'm going to replace Vibius with Fabius. And then I'm going to change some of their appearance, because again, I don't want like 5 guys that all look the same. It's okay if they have the face masks, then they could look like whatever underneath the mask. But alright, so that's alright. I'm curious. Oh, some of these guys have a little bit more experience before I swapped them out. That's very interesting. I'm thinking Tiberius is going to get switched with Fabius, because Fabius has the same stats, but he has more experience. Alright, so let's put that in. So apparently your starting experience is randomized as well. That's very interesting. So I'm pretty happy with the loadout we've got. Mostly because we've unlocked everything we have, and we have the squads that I'd like. So let's go ahead and go back to our mission map and go ahead and start our mission. I apologize if that was a really lengthy intro there, but I just wanted to get the best squad we could. So let's go ahead and select the squad as is, select our next mission. Essentially what we need to do is we need to enter the Space Hulk, deactivate the shields, and pave the way for your battle brothers. We already read that. So we need to deactivate a shield, and we need to exit with 3 or more Terminators is our mission. And, oh, it looks like we only get a choice of which one we come in with. I'm gonna pick this one, Squad Severus, not Squad Aurelius, and the reason that is because I would prefer just having a normal sergeant. I'd rather have that than have the librarian, and the reason is I'd only like the librarian when we're using both squads. So we're just going to use Squad Severus for this. So we're going to select and load in our mission. So this is just repeating our mission. So the honor of leading the first squad to breach the Fortress of Desolation, which is the ship that's what they've designated this ship as, falls to you. With Macridge itself under threat, there is no time to waste. You must enter the Space Hulk, reach the Gentry room, where you can deactivate the shields, allowing the rest of the strike force to advance in accordance with the tenets of the Codex Astartes. And from a control zone, Auspex readings show alien life signs in the sector. Be prepared to face whatever alien filth has made its home on this infernal vessel. So that's essentially
Sergeant of the squad, accept your orders.
Alright, so now we're set up for deployment. So this is our deployment zone, and it looks like we have 2 objectives. So let's go ahead and set up. And let's put our sergeant. I want somebody with good perception in the lead. The reason is because their perception is based, has a big effect on how good their view distance is.
Box received, Commander.
So another difference that we have is you could deploy Terminators one at a time and then actually move those Terminators before the other ones have been deployed. You don't have to deploy them all at once. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, this is very, very much darker, and you get to see very much less of the map. It's much more like fog of war kind of stuff. You only get to see what you can actually physically see with your Terminators. Now, I know one of my missions is here, another one is here. I'm not exactly sure what those are. That could probably be the exit point, and this is probably the shield, would be my guess. So we'll go ahead and move the first Terminator. Now he has 4 action points, and that's determined a lot on his agility stat. So we're going to go ahead and move him here, and then turn him. And this is another thing I like that they've added, is essentially this is your controls to turn your Terminator, and essentially it lets you do that pretty much immediately. As soon as you click where you want to go, it gives you this option, and then you click where you want him to move. So there we go. There's his move. So we're then going to. I'm not sure if I should spawn in my heavy first or my sergeant first. We'll spawn in the sergeant first.
Terminator ready.
Because he might give the other one special abilities. I'm not exactly sure how the command thing works. Apparently that is an element of this game. So I'm not sure what's in this direction, so I'm going to post him this way. And let's see, is this just a dead end, or does it keep going? It's kind of hard to tell with what I can see. I'm probably going to brighten it up a bit in editing, so you guys can see a little better than I can, but my visuals are very, very, very dark. So I'm going to put him on Overwatch just as a precaution, which costs 2 action points. It's the same kind of overall idea as the other game, although there is some differences. And hopefully we'll get to see those differences as we play. I'm going to spawn in the guy with the heavy guy next.
Squad deployed.
I'm going to have him go in this direction because it looks like the shield is in that direction, but I don't really know how these hallways go, so I'm not exactly sure if that's a direct route or not. But that's the way I'm going to move him, and I'm going to move him like that. And this guy, because he can't put an Overwatch down, I'm just going to have him move one forward, and then I'm going to have the heavy follow him. And that should use up most of the heavy's action points. And then we have 2 more guys to spawn in. We're going to spawn this guy here.
The Emperor's finest.
And he's going to move here and then back up the sergeant. And then we're going to move this guy here.
Your orders, sir.
He's going to move this way, and he's going to turn this way. I want most of my Terminators going to the right, because I believe that's where the shield generator is. But again, I can't be for sure on that until I explore more of the map. So let's go ahead and end our turn, because that's all we needed to do.
Hostile targets ahead.
Okay, so we have hostiles. I'm not sure what this is all about. I'm not going to change the animation speed, although that might make the game go a little bit quicker for you guys. I'm just going to keep it as for this video. If you guys have complaints about the animations taking too long, let me know, and I'll change the setting later. But for now, we're just going to keep it as is. I'm not sure if more of those messages are going to pop up. I apologize for that. Maybe that's a setting I can change. So definitely we have baddies over here. I'm going to move my sergeant first and move him up a couple points. And it looks like this isn't a dead end, so we're going to continue moving down this hall. But I am going to put another Overwatch up because I don't know what's going to happen here. And I think that is the wise... Oh no, I have a lot more action points. I didn't realize. Huh, it looks like the guys got more action points this turn than they had last. Oh, okay. I think the sergeant, he does give them an extra point. See that orange point? I think that's an extra point that they get for being close to the sergeant, I think. I don't like advancing him here and then putting an Overwatch, but at the same time, I kind of want to, so we'll do that anyway. And we'll put an Overwatch. Now, just like with the previous game, the corridors are pretty tight, so it's kind of hard to maneuver your Terminators sometimes. So we'll just move this guy up. And I apologize if you saw a little blip there. That was just something with my monitor. Don't worry about it. I'm getting used to new software for my recording, so that's my bad. This is new software. It seems to be giving me a little bit better quality videos and easing the video recording for me. So I'm going to put an Overwatch down, even though this isn't going to be much of an Overwatch, because I'm kind of concerned with opening that door and then not having action points when there are enemies down here. So we'll go ahead and throw an Overwatch down.
My aim is true.
Now, this guy, he's going to move up. You know what I should have tried to do? I should have tried to use my equipment. I'm kind of curious how that works. I think I'm going to un-Overwatch him just to see. I want to know how this works. So, equipment, use the service call. It's going to cost me 1 action point. Put it there. Okay. Oh, so it's a fixed thing. It doesn't move. Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Well, it was better to learn it now than learn it later. So essentially, it gives you an area of perception, but once you stick it there, it doesn't move. So that's interesting. I'm just going to turn him like this for later. So I learned a little bit of something there. Okay, how many action points? Okay, he used up most of his action points. So go ahead and move this guy up behind.
Moving out.
And I think that's pretty much our turn. Hopefully we don't get killed here with this. Looks like there's an enemy here, so let's go ahead and end our turn. Okay. Now we have him. He's right in this room, and we have another one here. See, this is where I'd love to have my heavy in front, because then I could just hose down the room and not worry about that guy on the other side of the door. But in any case, all we're going to do here is we're going to open the door. Now, one thing they've kind of changed is once you go into Overwatch, it kind of carries over from turn to turn. So you actually have to kind of deactivate it before you know fully how many action points you have. Okay, so he has 5 action points, so I can get through the door and then put up my Overwatch. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm not sure why he didn't move where I told him to. Did he see something? Oh, he did. That's why he stopped. Interesting, I'm glad that they do that. So apparently if you see enemies, it will stop your move. I'm still going to move him 1 forward. He'll shoot once because he sees an enemy, and he killed him. And it looks like we have an additional action point that we can move up. Now this is where I was talking about the heat. Essentially, your weapons, the more you shoot, the hotter your gun gets, and if it heats up all the way, it will jam. At least that's how the storm bolters work. You also have ammo capacity, so I can reload my gun for an action point, and I can cool down my weapon for an extra point. If you do other actions other than shooting, though, it will cool down naturally. So if I move him 1 step forward, we'll see that in action. So as he moves up forward, you'll see that his gun cooled on its own. And now we can throw down our Overwatch. Probably should have moved him over here so he wasn't blocking the way. That was kind of an oversight on my part. That's all right. We'll learn our tactics as we go. So we'll move this guy up. Unfortunately, the guy in front of him is blocking him. That wouldn't have been the case if I had moved a little bit more intelligently, but again, we'll learn as we play. Alright, so now we have an interesting problem here. This guy only has 3 action points, and there's an enemy right here. This enemy, it's going to cost him 1 action point to move here. He's only going to get 1 chance to shoot at the enemy. So he could move forward, and I think that's probably the most intelligent move, and hopefully he'll be able to see and shoot with that move. If not, hopefully you can see after moving, and then we're going to shoot with the remainder of his action points. That is kind of a slight problem because it allows this Gene Stealer to come up on us and possibly attack us, but I don't think we have much of a choice because otherwise I don't think that Overwatch is going to do us much good. So I'm going to move 1 step forward, hopefully get a shot off. No, we didn't get a shot off. That's really bad. Alright, so at this distance, and it shows you where a lot of your bonuses come in. So we've got weapon, chapter, class, I'm not sure what the diff is, and the range is all giving us bonuses to our attack. So we're going to lay down 2 shots here. Hopefully we kill him with the first. Okay, we kill him with the first. That's good. So now we're going to move this guy up here because he has 1 action point remaining. And that gets him out of the way so that our heavy... It'd be really nice if we could move our heavy here, turn and shoot, but he just does not have enough action points to do that. We're actually 1 shy. I wonder if he can move here, turn and shoot. That's kind of risky though. I'm always thinking the better course of action. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh boy. It looks like that Gene Stealer can get up and attack this guy if we don't do something about it. So I feel like our only option is to move here, turn, and hopefully be able to shoot here with our flamer. If not, we might get somebody killed, and in which case that's bad, but we live and learn again. We're learning how this game works. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to put a shot in here or not, but we're going to try it. So I click on the attack, and I have a number of choices for what type of flame I'm going to put down. Focused fire, it looks like we can put it down here. It's going to cover up that much of the hallway. Okay, so that's one choice. We have a long fire, which is going to cover up like this. You see the difference? It's going to cover more of that hallway down that way, but it's not going to cover those auxiliary tunnels. So that's one option. Our last option is wide fire. So if we put this down, it covers like that. So you kind of get an idea of how the different templates that you can use work. I was curious, how would this one have worked for us? So if we put it here, it does that much. I think wide is actually probably our best option in this case. So I'm going to choose that option. Click our wide fire. It costs the same amount. And it looks like that covers a lot of that hallway, but I think that's kind of maybe useless. I'm wondering if this is the better placement. That covers more overall territory, but I don't know of any enemies in that direction. So I'm going to choose here instead. And there we go. Now, I don't know. I guess we have killed that. So now we're also blocking this hallway so that these guys can't come in. But it looks like we also damaged this door. I'm not sure if that's going to carry over to the next turn. And it looks like it damaged this one as well. I'm not sure if these carry over from turn to turn, but we'll see. And now that we've done that, I'm going to use his last action point to actually move him up 1 space. The reason being is just to unblock that door. And then this Terminator here is going to move up, how many action points does he have? 5? So he's going to move up 3 and then put an Overwatch down, and the reason he's going to do that in case somebody comes through this door. Because even though we blocked this direction, we may not have blocked that direction. And we don't know how the hallways go, so it's a good precaution to have.
My aim is true.
Now I'm not sure, but I'm pretty certain that we have done all of our actions. It looks like we have, so now we can end our turn and see what happens. So we're going to stay over here, maybe zoom out a little bit so we can see what happens, and hit end turn. Okay, so it looks like that Gene Stealer, he's just banging on the door trying to open it because that door is now broken from the flames. He busted through. Now he's on the other side. Now there's another enemy right here on the other side of this door, which is kind of a problem because that door is not open. We have to open it first. So it looks like most of the enemy concentration is on this side, so maybe going this way is a good choice because it's a path of least resistance. So this guy has possibly 6 action points. We're going to go ahead and move him here for now. This looks like a pretty wide hallway. It looks like maybe we would have been better served by sending most of our Marines this direction. Okay, so it looks like we have another 4 action points, so I'm going to go 2 more down, and then we'll put our Overwatch up. There's our Overwatch. And then this guy, he's just going to follow up. He's going to move down 4 and then put an Overwatch down as well. So we're kind of just doing a moving cover of this hallway. And he's going to put an Overwatch down, and that should end the turn of both of these guys. And it looks like we were wise to put down the Overwatch because there's another enemy here. We don't know exactly how he's going to come, but probably through this door, I would guess. Which that door looks like it's already open, so we can expect that to be the case. It looks the way our perception works is we only are aware of these blips if they're within range of our scanners. And then we're only aware of exactly where the enemies are as if we have direct line of sight. So that's a very interesting the way that this game mechanic works over the other, because with the other game we could see the entire map and know exactly where the enemies were. So this guy, more than likely, he's going to hose down this hallway again. Let's see what attack options we have open to us. I'm thinking wide again is our best option. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to kill that. Yeah, it doesn't look like that is our best option. So possibly we moved too far up for us to have the best choices, but I'm thinking just our standard focused fire is going to be what we choose, and we're going to choose it in a way, oh, okay, actually maybe that's not our best choice. So again, we're going to choose attack, and we're going to choose long fire, because I think that's actually probably our best choice because it covers the most part of the hall. So we're going to go ahead and choose that one and hose down the hallway with our flame. And in thus doing so, we have killed that Gene. Oh, actually, no, we didn't kill him, but at least if he moves at all in this area, he will get damaged, so potential of killing him later, and we've blocked the hallway so this guy can't get us. So that worked out. Now what do we do about this guy? Well, this guy here, he has 4 action points, so we could go 1, 2, open door, and then he's in the way, so that doesn't work for us too well. I'm starting to think that maybe the best option is just to put 2 Overwatches up, and as soon as that guy opens the door, we just plaster him with fire. I'm thinking that that's really our only option, because anything else would be too risky. So putting an Overwatch here, and I think this guy already has Overwatch, so we don't need to change his orders. And this guy, I'm just going to keep where he is, although maybe moving him would be a wise option. I want him to be able to hose down this hallway again if we need it. So, this is going a little slower than I would have hoped, but at least we get an opportunity to move these guys and hopefully cover more of the hallway. And you know what I'm thinking here? Maybe we put down another one of those observation things, just because at this point it would be kind of nice to have it where we are, because we're kind of bottlenecked. So I'm going to use this guy to put one down. I'm not sure if that's going to undo his Overwatch. Looks like it did, but we'll just re-Overwatch him because we had the action points.
Confirmed. Holding.
So hopefully this guy will give us a little bit better view of what's going on. Doesn't look like it improved all that much, but at least it helps us a little bit, and we'll end our turn. And it looks like we got some action down here. Now, one thing that it appears that they have changed about this game is they have removed a lot of the cinematic element of the gameplay. With the previous game, you would have very cinematic turn sequences. I think they did that maybe to speed up the turns a little bit. I would imagine that this guy's gun's a little bit on the hot side. Okay, not too bad. But what I'm thinking here is we're just going to continue to move up. But we're going to do so a little bit less, a little bit more conservatively, because I want to reload the gun, get rid of all of that heat. Looks like he can move up maybe 2 more spaces. This guy, I'm going to have him move up 2. Yes.
With all due haste.
You have to be careful not to accidentally have the guys face the wrong direction. Okay, he has 4 action points. We'll have him reload. I'm kind of hesitant to have them go much further forward, but I also want them to get down this hallway. So I think I'll move them both up just 1 more point, and then put the overwatches up. That is getting them kind of close to the enemy, but at the same time, I do want them to get down the hallway. So now we can put our overwatch down.
Scanning for enemy
So
movement.
we're just kind of doing a slow advance down this hallway, killing any of the Gene Stealers that show up. We haven't seen a Gene Stealer spawn point yet, and I'd love to show you that so we can see what we can do with that. Okay, now this guy, he only has 4 action points, I believe, and then this guy, he also has 4. So not having our sergeant here is actually kind of hurting us a little bit. Now this guy, we're going to move up, and we're going to put him on Overwatch. Now that he can see down this hall, that helps a little bit. And put him on Overwatch.
Stay alert, brother.
Now, I'm not sure what to do here. I'd love to kill that Gene Stealer, and I'd love to get down the hall. But the way it's working so far is it's kind of been impeding my ability to do that. Looks like I can put fire down here and kill that. I'm wondering if not selecting wide, but just selecting normal will give me the same effect. It looks like about the same. So it looks like I get to advance 1 more space down the hallway, which I'd like to do. So let's go ahead and do that.
Before us.
And I do have to watch the ammo of the Terminator here, the heavy, because he only has 3 more shots and then he's out. So the longer this like kind of holding action goes, actually the worse off I am, because it doesn't give you, it's kind of annoying, but you have to kind of undo the overwatch before you get your full action points. That is kind of annoying. So we're kind of set up to keep moving down this hallway. As long as we don't get more of the Gene Stealers coming, we could do that. So hopefully that works out for us. If not, we're going to have to just use these guys to get to the shield generator, which it actually looks like they have a better chance of getting there. So let's go ahead and end the turn, because I'm pretty sure that was everything we needed to do. Okay, killed that guy. Okay, it looks like we have movement over there. I'm trying to do my best to show you what happens in the middle of the turn.
Weapon jammed.
His heat went up to the point that he jammed, so there's where the jams come in. So you had jams in the previous game, but it was based off of die rolls and stuff. This works a little bit differently. So what am I thinking here? This guy has 5 action points. I think 2 turn in this direction. And if we need
Yes,
to,
Commander.
we'll put fire down this hallway. Now this guy is going to move just up 2.
With all
Now this is
due
possibly
haste.
risky because I don't know what's down this hallway. And this guy could get attacked from behind, and that's very bad.
Going into Overwatch.
Because ideally, if you're getting attacked by the Gene Stealers, you want them to attack you from the front, not from the rear. Okay, so this guy, he jammed due to overheating. So we're going to have him reload his gun for 1 action point. Should get rid of some of the heat. And then just cool down for the other action point. And then he's just going to stay on Overwatch, because taking him off Overwatch would be bad. So,
Weapon functional.
alright, we got rid of most of the heat, but not all of it. So that's kind of bad, because he has less time before he jams. Okay, let's see what's going on over here. We don't know of any enemy in this area. And definitely we need to get down this hallway. Not sure who the best person to do that with would be, but let's go ahead and move this guy up and turn him this way. Okay, he has 3 action points left, so we can open the door and then put him on Overwatch.
Holding position.
And just to protect him, I think the best course of action here, we don't know if anything can come down this hallway, so this is kind of a risk, but I definitely know that things could come this way. So I'm thinking 2, turn, and then put my Overwatch down. And these guys' bolters should be cooled down just from all the moving that they did, so don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and end our turn, because I think we did everything we needed to do. So, all right. Now we know there's bad guys over here. Looks like there's bad guys over there now. Okay. Alright. It looks like that was all there was as far as... Oh, okay. Exactly what I thought might happen happened. This guy came from this direction. And because we were turned that way, we couldn't see him. This is kind of where only having 2 Terminators is kind of going to hurt us. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stay on spot and pivot. Hopefully this will get a shot off on this. Okay, we did. Alright. I'm thinking, did we use this guy's equipment? Yeah, putting down a servo skull here would be a good choice, because it kind of gives us a viewpoint on this hallway as we move down this one. Now this guy, he's just going to move up. If we move him the full distance, it should give him the ability to still give him an Overwatch, because we get 2 action points back once the Overwatch is taken off. And now that he's there, we'll just Overwatch him. Now this guy, ideally, we'd just like to backpedal him down this hallway. But we may not have the action points to do that, though. So ideally, I'm just going to move him as far as he can move, and then we'll worry about turning him around next turn.
Yes, Commander.
That is dangerous, but hopefully the servo skull here will give us view on what's going on and help us know if there's something behind us. Okay, so our Overwatch worked as they should. It looks like the shield generator's down this way, but also enemies are down that way. Oh, I'm not sure how to approach this, because don't know what we need to do to deactivate the shield generator. It might be as simple as just going over and turning it off. We might actually have to destroy it, though. And I also have this hallway that I have no idea what's down it. So this is another one of those cases where we have more directions than we have guys to cover. So what I'm thinking here is I face this direction and put a...
Objective log.
I wonder where that goes, because it doesn't look like there's a doorway over here. Probably connects with this, but I don't know what's over here. There could be things spawning over here. I don't have any clue if that's something that could happen. So I'd like to put an Overwatch down.
Scanning for enemy movement.
And if anything comes from this direction, we're kind of hosed, because I have no idea what's over here. But I'm thinking... backpedal and turn. And then just as a precaution, because I don't know if things could spawn in this room, I'm going to hose it down. We're running low on the flamer fuel, but I think it's kind of our best course of action. I'd like to cover the whole room if I can. It looks like that's kind of difficult to do. Let's see if we can get, with a wider shot, what we can get out of that. Looks like even worse coverage. So it looks like this room has kind of a funky layout. That's probably the best coverage right there, but I almost wonder if we could achieve that with the... We'll just do it like this. Put down that flame. And we have 1 action point left, so we'll go ahead and move up. So that covered some of the room, so if there's an enemy that spawns in here, it will at least be blocked from being able to attack us. Now this guy, He probably just needs to keep that overwatch up so they don't flank us from behind. They could flank us from this direction, but it's kind of hard for me to know how to stop that. So I think that was everybody moving, so let's go ahead and end our turn. Okay, so it looks like this guy is shooting down this hall again, so that was wise to keep him where he was. And we overheated. Alright. So we're really close to our objective. The problem is, these could be hallways, which they are, and there could be gene stealers on either side. I'm not sure. It looks like this is not a way through. So that's kind of bad. I was hoping it would be. So it looks like our main way through is the way that we're going over there. So it looks like we're going to split up our Terminators, and I'm guessing from the fact that this guy isn't seeing anything, there's nobody behind us. So we're going to go ahead and split up, and we're going to go one guy down this way, and the other guy down the other hallway. Okay. So we have sight down here now. Looks like it's super dark, though. Okay. And then we can put our overwatch down. And hopefully this guy can move far enough that he can put an overwatch down. It does not appear that he can. He is just shy of being able to put an overwatch down. Because ideally we would move and then turn this way. Well, at the very least he puts his facing that way in case a gene stealer does come from that direction. I'm hoping this is just not a dead end, which it may very well be. There are some things like air ducts that the gene stealers can move through that we can't, and that may be what that is. I'm assuming that there is a pathway here because there is a door. And because that guy's covering that direction, I probably should spin this guy around. And overwatch here.
Watching for enemy contact.
I would like to have more than one Terminator go in this room, but it looks like that's going to be what we get. Alright, so I'm going to move up enough so that we can see into the room. Okay, so there is a spawn point in here, but I think because maybe I hosed down this room with fire, it's actually been deactivated. That's what this blocked means. Another way you can block one is by just like literally just putting a guy right here and just keeping him there will keep it blocked. So he has 3 action points. He can get here. Part of the problem with that is I'm not sure he can activate it this turn because he probably needs an action point to do that. If he moves here, he still has enough enough action points to shoot his flamer, so we'll do that. Oh, okay, I guess it's not blocked. So that's a risk. 1, 2, probably last turn it was blocked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can't get to him this turn. If they spawn there. Now there could be other gene stealers down here that I don't know about. As long as that door's closed, I'm not too concerned about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if he moves here, they shouldn't be able to get to him, from what I can see. So we'll do that. Okay, and somehow it's blocked again. That's weird. Okay, and he does have the option to deactivate the shield. Okay, so now we need to get the heck out of here, which it looks like the way we do that is down here. So it looks like 3 of our Terminators are already on the way, and it looks like that's all our objective is. So that's good. And it looks like we're probably fine with just keeping the way we are. Obviously, this guy, he needs to cool down his gun.
Weapon operational.
Which we're just going to use both of our free action points to do that. Although he has expended ammo, it's more important that he doesn't jam. So we'll cool down twice. And then just keep him on overwatch and end our turn. Okay. That was the only gene stealer we knew about. Oh boy. Now that we have that scanner, we know there's gene stealers behind us. And they may be able to come this way too. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like they can. So this guy, he's just going to turn turn around. That should get him one shot. He missed. We get a sustained fire bonus, so we might as well keep shooting. Alright, we killed him. More than likely, we'll just stay here and put a Overwatch down. Now, this is risky because they can come up behind us now. I think this door's closed, so they do have to spend an action point opening it. But definitely a risk to keep going this way, because we're going to have to turn our back, essentially, on the enemy if we do that. So I'm thinking move here, although I'm not sure if we can do that without opening the door. It looks like we can, according to what it says. So we'll try it, and turning around here. Okay, apparently we didn't open the door. That's good. Turn around, and then put our Overwatch down, because we have just enough action points to do that. Okay, now what are we gonna do here? Looks like we have 6 action points because we finally got in range of our sergeant, close enough range that he gets that extra bonus. So what I'm thinking here is he just needs to get to this door. It looks like 4 action points either way. The only problem with that is he doesn't have enough action points if he does that to put down flames, which is kind of bad. This is incredibly dangerous, no matter what we do. I'm thinking we just risk it and we go through the door and turn this way, yes. And hope that there's not gene stealers on the other side. It looks like we're turning the right direction, though. Now, I don't want to hose down the hallway, and the main reason I don't is because I don't want to block this door and make it so I have to break through it. That would really slow me down. That's not something I need right now. Okay, this guy, he just needs to go on Overwatch. We can't put him in a better position than he's already in.
Securing
So
position.
we'll do that. Okay, now this guy needs to move. I'm thinking he only has 4 action points. We need to get him. We need to get him in this room. I know it's dangerous, turning his back on everything, but he just needs to. It really looks like we need to get out of here.
Affirmative.
And we're going to have to do a little bit of risky moves just to do that, in my opinion. Now, by the way, the heavy cannot put down an Overwatch with the flamer. I guess I should point that out. Okay, we need to reload. He just needs to stay here because it seems like there's a lot of enemies coming this way. And use 1 action point to cool his weapon.
Weapon functional.
We only need to get 3 guys out, so I'm not too worried about getting him out. Alright, let's end our turn. Okay, we were aware that guy was there. There's another guy there. Okay, it looks like we can get our guy with the flamer out. But this is incredibly dangerous. Looks like we're going to have to... Is that going to really take 4 action points? Because it's probably 2 to turn around. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. What do you... Yeah. Because he has to open the door. He can't backpedal through the door. That's what his move would look like. Which is not good. But it's really the only option we have open to us other than just keep him staying there. As a matter of fact, we might not do that. So what I'd like to have happen is this guy move down. Two here.
Advance, brothers.
And then reload his gun. That's good. And he's just going to keep an Overwatch until this guy can cover him. Essentially, that's how we're going to play this. Okay, this guy, he needs to move up. I'm not sure how the blocking thing works because At one point it wasn't blocked, then it was blocked, then it wasn't. I don't know exactly how that works. Okay, we'll just move him all the way up. While that guy's moving... Did he shoot? I can't remember. Doesn't appear he did, but we're still going to keep him there for the time being. Just because he's going to move so slowly if we move him any other way. I'm not sure to just rush this guy towards the point. He's not going to get there this turn, or move him here and try and cover this hallway. I think that's probably the best move. Oh good, we have a closed door, so we have no idea what's on the other side there. I'm really starting to worry about our situation. I know this is the first mission. It's probably not the hardest mission in the world, but I am worrying a lot about what's going on here. I'm thinking what I'm going to do, rather than cover this hallway, is I'm going to move here, face this direction, and get him ready to get out of there. I know that's risky, but I want to get him out of there, and hopefully we can do it. So let's go ahead and end our turn. Hopefully we don't get screwed. Okay. So he did what he needed to do. Looks like they're sending bodies this way now. Oop, looks like our action is up here now. That's kind of a bummer. The way they do things now is that it's a little tough sometimes to know exactly where the action's going on. Okay. So he's going to do his move, but now we can cover him, so it's not as big of a deal. And we'll move him, you know, rather than keep moving him, I'm going to put an overwatch down just to cover this in case there is guys that can come that way. Now we're being a little bit more safe. Now this guy is going to move here, turn here, and put an overwatch down. Now if the Gene Stealers are smart, they'll go this way and go around the overwatch, but I don't imagine they will be. Okay, so now this guy, he can just get the heck out of Dodge. I'm probably going to do something similar with this guy, just move him as far as he can move. Okay, it looks like that spawn point's now active again, so this guy's really, really bad in trouble. Okay, we're just going to do a reload. I might as well just do a cool off because he does have the action point.
Weapon functional.
How cool did this guy's gun get? Oh, okay, it cooled all the way off, so that's good. Alright, so let's end our turn again. We do have to worry about this spawn point now, and that guy is probably very, very dead if this mission continued beyond just getting 3 guys out. So let's end our turn one more time. And there is where our Overwatch paid off a little bit. Okay, that guy's still having to shoot at Gene Stealers. So his positioning is still vital. Okay, so this guy is just going to move up, shoot as he moves. Move 1 space for now. Okay, so he has 5 more action points. So we can move him probably here, reload, and then put an Overwatch. And then probably he'll be able to get out next turn. And Overwatch.
Going into Overwatch.
Not sure if there's more enemies here or not, but this guy is just going to backpedal. And backpedal 1 more space.
Yes, Commander.
And Overwatch.
They will fall.
Okay, so we're being safe with our deployment here. Alright, so we're almost out. We've got, this guy is almost out, and this guy is very close to being out, and then we're done with our mission. Oh wait, this guy is out. There we go. So I only need 1 more, and then we're done. So this guy, I'm pretty sure, can get there. Maybe 1, 2, turn is 3, 4, 5. Maybe not quite, but he's going to get really close. Looks looks like there's one guy in this hallway. They didn't bother spawning a guy in there, which is kind of weird, but... Alright, we're going to put him here. Turn this way. And then... put an Overwatch down.
Stay alert, brothers.
And then this guy is going to backpedal once. And he's going to... he can't... I'm not going to backpedal him another time because I'd like him to reload. And then put down an Overwatch.
Scanning for enemy
So hopefully
movement.
we can get out next turn. But we're still being cautious here. This guy continues to shoot. We'll just reload him. And turn. And I think we're literally one turn away. Okay. Got up pretty close to my face.
No mercy.
Okay. Looks like they're continuing to send bodies this way. Alright. Now the safe thing here is just to backpedal. I know it draws out the mission to another turn, but it is the safest bet. And then we can just backpedal out of here pretty much. So I might have been able to get out. I wasn't really paying attention all that well, but I prefer to do the
Watching
safe
for enemy
action.
contact.
Now this guy is going to just backpedal 1 as opposed to 2, and he's going to reload again. So you can see the heat comes off pretty quickly when you do actions, other actions. And just to attempt it, I'm going to try and get this guy out of there. Okay. But I highly doubt he's going to make it. This guy needs to Overwatch. I almost forgot.
Stay alert, brothers.
Okay, now we get to trying to get out of here.
I am movement, brothers.
Okay.
Beware.
Yeah, we're pretty much out now. I don't know if the mission will end immediately when we do this. We may get some kind of achievement for getting more guys out. Looks like they're letting us go, so I'm going to imagine that that is the case. I think this guy, he's just going to run. He might get killed, but he's going to try. And then we're going to move him here. Hopefully he gets enough distance away from the Gene Stealers so they don't come up behind him and kill him. But if that happens, oh well. We didn't get any achievements for getting all the guys out. Him, I'm going to run forward as well, rather than try and put Overwatches or anything up. We'll worry about that more next turn. So I apologize I'm lengthening this scenario, but I would really like to unlock an achievement if we can. Okay. That was it for the Gene Stealer turn. Okay, they're literally right behind him, but that's okay, because he's out. Okay. Now this guy is going to have a tough time. I think once he gets in the room, that turns off the spawner.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, so once you get in that circle is how you block it off. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Okay, so we'll just turn so that we can keep moving next turn. More than likely this Gene Stealer will come up here and we'll have to deal with him next turn. Okay. Now there's two of them there. They're just kind of waiting for him, huh? So he's going to go this way. Oh, no. Well, he's going to kind of have to do that. I'm kind of curious, can I get to him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It sure looks like it. So he's about to die. Because I couldn't put an Overwatch up. I didn't have enough action points. So
Clear a path.
hopefully he survives it, but not too optimistic about
We
it.
have contact.
Yeah, he just got
And die.
he just got slaughtered. So that's the mission. We didn't get everybody out, which I didn't really plan for. I guess because this is a campaign, it didn't actually matter whether he lived or not. I probably could have played that a little bit better than I did, but oh well. So we got a reinforcement to replace the guy that died. And we're probably on to the next mission. I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna stop the recording probably here. But in any case, I hope you've gotten a good overview of what the new version of Space Hulk Ascension is like. So far, I'm really liking the game. It seems very, very interesting. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed this coverage. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.